Hello, my dear viewers and the rest of the listeners. Welcome to this presentation by the title, Don't Retire as a Beggar, but Retire Gracefully. This is a very important topic to each and every person, regardless of whether you are employed or self-employed, regardless of your age, regardless of your tribe, regardless of your religion, because each and every person will retire one day. My name is Meme JM, or you can simply call me Emily Swap. We are going to look on this topic on retirement under the following headings. Number 1 is Introduction to Retirement. Number 2, we shall look at the preparation as well as planning for your retirement. Under this subtopic, we shall look at creating a plan for your retirement. And then we are going to look at how you are supposed to create a retirement budget. And under this, we shall look at how you can minimize your taxes and expenditures. We shall look at the importance of clearing your debts. Then we are going to focus on building up savings, or how you can build up your savings and investment portfolio in readiness for your retirement. Number 3, we shall look at the strategy on your healthcare provision after retirement. Number 4, we shall look at creation of emergency account. Number 5, we shall look at formulation of a will. And lastly, we shall look at how you can announce your retirement and how you can proceed to your retirement. Let's commence by looking on the introduction to retirement. May I commence by congratulating you for having committed yourself fully into the service of humanity during your youthful or active working life, not only for the purpose of earning your daily bread, but also for making our world a better place than you found it. For sure, you are a great man or a great woman of substance for having made a choice to serve mankind in the way that you are doing now, and more so for dedicating your energy, your brains, your body, your time, and your other resources towards helping others lead good lives through whatever work that you have been engaged in. You are playing and have been playing a very important role in this universe through your daily actions. And it's for that reason that you need some commendation that can be able or that can enable you spend the rest of your earthly life comfortably, because you deserve such. In fact, you might not have known how much valuable you have been in this life, but I want to tell you that nobody can be able to repay you for the good work that you have been doing, because you have added some value to somebody with or without your knowledge. You have changed many people's lives for the time that you have served, and whichever capacity and in whatever place, and you will have done much by the time that you no longer be capable to do what you love doing because of either old age or for other reasons. However, my dear friend and comrade, in this journey of life, I wonder whether you have ever sat down to seriously think about your future, especially at that moment when you will no longer be capable of doing what you love most, either because of old age or for other unavoidable circumstances. Even as you strive to do your level best today, when you are vibrant and energetic to do everything and go everywhere as you want, don't forget that a time is surely coming when you will be willing to do what you love, but the laws of nature concerning old age may not allow you to do so. Therefore, even as you vibrantly pursue your various dreams and receive accolades from friends, colleagues, and everyone else, remember that such status will come to an end one day when your body itself will dictate to you what to do and what not to do. So, in as much as you do everything today and treat everyone the way you want because you are strong and healthy and you have everything that you require to do, or you have everything that you require to do, or what your heart desires to do, you will still enter a phase in your life when you will be past 60 years old, and as you advance in years, you will have to undergo through tremendous changes, not only to your body and resources, but also in your lifestyle. So, are you aware that regardless of whether you are self-employed or officially employed by someone else or the government, that a time will come when your services will no longer be required due to your old age, and you will be set free and alone to navigate through your future life away from your active public service? Are you aware that a day will come when your body will no longer be as strong as it is today, and thus you will not be able to do what you do today as or so as to acquire your daily bread? Are you aware also that it doesn't matter how excellent you are in what you do today, but a time will come when you will not be able to utilize your knowledge and skills actively in execution of a certain task? Are you also aware that when you will cease from serving the public and your current capacity because you will have attained the age to go home, you will enter into a new phase of life that will be totally different from the life that you are living now, and many of your so-called comrades and colleagues will be nowhere to be found. Are you aware that a day is coming when you will have to vacate your current office, either voluntarily or by force, and your possession will be occupied by someone else, regardless of how good, efficient, and effective you have been in delivering your institutional or organizational objectives? Are you also aware that a day is coming when even your closest colleagues and management in your place of work will just forget about you and forget about those great accomplishments that you had helped them or the organization to achieve. Are you aware that you will have to leave in order to give way to others to take up your possession, and then you will be let loose to spend the rest of your old age as per your wish, and with none of your colleagues bother to know about your whereabouts? So, how prepared are you to be able to successfully navigate through such a time when you will cease to do what you love to do most due to old age or due to other health issues, or when you will live your active working life due to having attained the age when you are required by law to go home and spend the rest of your other life there? It is for that reason that this presentation is meant to prepare you and help you plan effectively for your retirement so that you not only retire gracefully, but also enable you to enjoy your retirement as a king or a queen and not as a beggar after having served humanity during your entire youthful life and active working life. This presentation will therefore help you to smoothly transit from your active working life to a comfortable retirement phase in your life. I therefore encourage you to listen to this talk, to this presentation from the beginning to the end, because this presentation is going to change your life. And I also kindly request that as you go through this presentation or this talk, that you also take action on how you are going to start changing your life from now all the way until you accomplish your mission in this world. So, let's commence by asking ourselves, what is retirement? Retirement is a phase in life whereby you live your active working life or a job at a certain time of life due to the feeling that you are no longer capable of doing your job for health reasons, or your services are terminated by your employer after having attained a certain legislated old age by which you are deemed eligible for your pension benefits and you are no longer as productive as would be required of you. In addition, you can retire early because of other interests or other reasons other than the reasons for health. However, you are always free to retire, just as I have said, at any age that you want, as long as you are prepared or you have prepared yourself adequately for the same. You can therefore be seen to have taken an early retirement if you make a decision to live your active working life in a certain job before you attain the full retirement age, but having attained the earliest age possible to be able to get your retirement benefits. Otherwise, you might lose your retirement benefits. It is for this reason that you must be very careful about the time when you will make a decision to take early retirement if you can't wait for your full retirement. This is because if you take early retirement, you may not be eligible for your 100% pension benefits, but if you claim your pension benefits after full retirement, you will be sure to receive your full benefits. For most of the white-collar jobs, where one is employed, for example, by the government, there is a legal age that renders an individual as a retiree based on the job that he or she is employed to perform. Such retirement is usually mandatory, and therefore one is made to retire by law once he or she has hit the retirement age. However, the question is this, my dear friend and my dear listener. Now that you have attained your retirement date and here, or you are going to attain your retirement at a certain date or here, do you feel as if you will be ready or you are ready and prepared for your mandatory retirement? Do you feel adequately prepared to move from what you are doing today and enter into a retirement phase in life? I don't know what your answer is, but from this presentation, you are going to evaluate yourself as I proceed with the presentation, and you will be able to find out whether you are ready to move on to your retirement, regardless of the time or day when this phase will crop in. Those people that normally refuse to believe that they have retired and they want to remain in office when they should retire, it is those people that have not been preparing themselves for retirement and are therefore wondering whether they will retire and what they will be retiring to do. As a result, such people normally believe that they are the ones that can continue doing what they have been doing well and that nobody else can be able to do it perfectly. However, the truth of the matter is that if you find out that somebody believes that it is only he or it is only him or her that is perfect staff who should be allowed to continue holding an office beyond the retirement age, and that nobody else can match him or her, that is just a lie. That is purely a lame excuse to allow such a person to work beyond the retirement age. Why? Because this person is simply not ready and not prepared for retirement. So, if you find out that you are resisting to retire by giving vague reasons that you are the only best candidate for the job, it simply means that you have not been prepared to retire. Otherwise, if you are prepared to retire, you should also have prepared a number of your staff to be able to take up your mantle once you clock the age for retirement. If you are such kind of a person, then The content of this presentation will still be of value to you so that you can be able to retire gracefully. And so that you can avoid resisting to go home for retirement and feel that you need to continue in your current job so that maybe a time can come when you can go home at your pleasure, which is not usually the case and which may not be the case in your organization unless if you are self-employed. That is why you should never wait till your retirement date is around the corner so that you can start preparing to retire, but you should prepare for it as early as you get your first employment. It is also important for you to ensure that you and your spouse plan properly concerning the time when you should bring forth your lastborn so that by the time when you will be clocking the age for retirement, you will not have young ones or kids under your care. So, as you work, it is always good to be aware of your retirement date. Why? So that based on that date, you can know at what age you should stop bearing or bringing forth young ones or bringing forth kids. This means that if you are married, you should sit down with your spouse and agree on when you are going to bring forth your lastborn so that your retirement date does not strike while you are still taking care of your very young kids. It is good to retire after your children have attained an age when they can be able to take care of themselves and are earning their own income. However, if you find out that you still have children or only parents under your care, even if you are retired from the official employment due to retirement age, you will still have to continue seeking for more other resources or other sources of income in order to support them, and therefore you may postpone some of your retirement plans. But note that this does not apply to those who are officially employed in jobs that have a mandatory age of retirement. Because once that mandatory age clocks in, it will not be your choice to choose whether to retire or not, but you will have to vacate your job and go home. So, if you still have kids or people to take care for, especially children after your retirement, you may not even be able to enjoy your retirement as you would have done if you didn't have family members that are directly relying on you for their survival. So, you can know that you are ready to retire when you realize that you are no longer supporting kids or parents. It is therefore important to alert anyone that might be currently relying on you if you are nearing your retirement date concerning your financial status once you retire without any apologies, and encourage them to come up with the strategies that they can use to take care of themselves. For this reason, do your best before you retire in order to ensure that you have adequately educated and empowered your children in order for them to be responsible for themselves after your retirement. In fact, it is supposed to be the work of your organization to prepare you for your retirement. Otherwise, how else can your employer reciprocate you for your many years of service if not to prepare you for your retirement? If you find an employer that does not care about your retirement and has not put in place any procedures to prepare you for retirement, it simply means that what such employer is interested in and with is simply your skills, your knowledge, and your energy, and not you as a person. In fact, it is completely immoral and unethical for an employer to let an old member of staff just leave an organization with just a pension after having attained the retirement age without having equipped this person or this staff with the knowledge and the skills on how he or she can be able to spend his or her life in retirement after the active service. For this reason, as you prepare yourself as an individual to retire, your trade union should also prepare you to retire as well as ensuring that your employer puts in place strategies for your successful retirement or for successful retirement of their staff, and your employer should also do the same. Your organization and your labor movement or union should be adequately preparing you for retirement and ensure that you are assisted to process your pension and other retirement benefits before your actual retirement date. For this reason, it can be a blessing for the management to equip such staff with retirement skills as well as ensuring that they prepare all the retirement records for the staff before the retirement date of their member so that those members do not struggle to get what is rightfully theirs after retirement. In addition, it is important for you as an individual to also prepare yourself adequately for retirement and plan for it so that you can be able to enjoy your retirement period till when your creator will call you back after having accomplished your earthly life's purpose. Therefore, as you enjoy the great things and goals that you are accomplishing today while active in work, don't forget that a day is coming when you will exit from your active service in your organization and spend the rest of your other life as a retiree. Therefore, the kind of life that you will lead after retirement will be dictated by how well you prepared yourself for your retirement, and of course, how well your organization your trade unions prepared you as their member for retirement. In fact, preparation for retirement is supposed to be a concerted effort between the employer, the labor movement, and the individual himself or herself. However, kindly note that whether your labor movement or your employer prepares you for retirement or not, your life is yours. Your life is in your hands. Therefore, prepare yourself adequately for your retirement. And that is why I am speaking to you now, so that you can be able to change your life, so that you can be able to prepare yourself well for your future, regardless of whether your employer or your labor movement has prepared you or not. It is my happiness as Emily Swap, as Mem and JM, to see you lead a wonderful and successful life after retirement. Always remember that once you retire, you may not be able to spend your days and the time as you used to, and with the people that served as your colleagues, because you'll be transiting from your public life, from your active interaction, from your active public interaction with the people to private life. For this reason, if you would like to lead a comfortable life in retirement, you have no other option but to thoroughly prepare for it. And it is for that purpose that I am speaking to you now, so that you can start changing now and not tomorrow. So that you can start preparing yourself now and not tomorrow. Otherwise, if you retire while unprepared and without a prior plan, it can become a serious letdown and an emotionally painful separation from doing what you have done for the most part of your lifetime, and as a result, you may not be able to manage such grief. So, retiring without adequate prior preparation and planning can lead to one's state of protest, despair, and detachment, which may at times lead to depression and even to early death. However, if you are adequately prepared for retirement, you will be able to go through those phases of protest, of despair, and of detachment smoothly without struggling. And that is the purpose of this presentation. That is the purpose of this talk, so that you can be able to come out victoriously as a victor, as a prosperous person, as a comfortable client, as a comfortable citizen or the citizen of your country. It is for this reason that employers that have the heart of their staff in mind, and those that appreciate the efforts that their staff have been investing in their organizations, should be ready to assist their employees navigate on matters in relation to retirement by providing them with the supportive resources, such as taking them thoroughly through personal counseling, therapy, workshops, and trainings for personal growth, as well as educating them on the techniques for successful retirement. It is also important for every organization to put in place a retirement management office that can be undertaking the activities of preparing their staff with the knowledge and the skills that they can be able to apply after retirement, as well as enabling the staff have their retirement benefits processed before they retire. However, always note that the determinant of how your retirement phase will be like lies purely on your shoulders, just as I have already said. This is because it is your responsibility to have a comfortable retirement, which cannot be possible if you will only rely on your employer's or your government's retirement benefit or pension. A pension is a retirement package consisting of a certain amount of money that is either handed over to the retiree either in a single instrument or in form of monthly instruments and is not based on investments. So, whereas it is okay that you will get some pension when you retire, if you only rely on such a saving, you may never realize your comfortable retirement dream. It is therefore your responsibility to ensure that you have made adequate retirement investments that can supplement your employer's or government's retirement benefits, such as personal savings and interests accruing from other investments. So, how do you prepare and plan for your retirement? Or what should you do to be prepared or to say that you are prepared for your retirement? Retirement planning is a lifelong multi-step process of determining your retirement income goals, the actions and decisions that are necessary for you to achieve those goals, such as initiating strategies for savings and investments, minimizing your daily expenses, as well as managing your assets and risks. This process of retirement planning can start at any point in your working life, but it is best done immediately you employ yourself or you get employed, regardless of your age, or as from now, when you are listening to this presentation, if you had not already done so. So, retirement planning considers your assets and income as well as your future expenses, liabilities, and life expectancy. You plan for retirement so that you can be able to get ready for your future life or for your retirement life. You plan for your retirement so that you can get prepared for life after your paid work ends. It is important to note that retirement planning does not only entail the aspect of finances, but it also considers the lifestyle choices that you will have to make, such as where you will live, how you will spend your free time in retirement, when you are going to quit your employment to retire, amongst the other aspects. Retirement planning is very crucial because it helps you be able to make a decision on how you will live once you are old and unable to work. The earlier you commence planning for your retirement, the better, because every year you postpone retirement planning, you earn a year depriving yourself of retiring early and enjoy your golden years. In addition, retirement planning does not only allow you to control your fixed income, but it also allows you to earn more income during your retirement phase. It is therefore everyone's responsibility to start planning for retirement, regardless of his or her age, and regardless of the kind of work that he or she does, because everyone will one day reach at a point in his or her life where he or she will be unable to work for a certain reason or reasons. This is because retirement is a serious phase in life that you should not or that should not be taken lightly. It therefore requires prior proper planning in order to prevent poor retirement status after your hard-working career life is over. You should therefore take adequate time to plan carefully for your retirement and that of your spouse if you have one, so that you may make the right decision on when to retire. So, the main reason as to why many people are afraid of retirement is because they are not well prepared to retire comfortably, and because retirement is a phase that they have not experienced before, and therefore they have the fear of the unknown. However, it is good to acknowledge the fact that having spent most of your years in hard work, you deserve to have a comfortable and a happy retirement. Therefore, you need to adequately prepare for your retirement and then retire when ready. However, if you are officially employed in a job that has set retirement age, just as I have said, and that you will have to retire when you reach the mandatory retirement age, you need to prepare for that retirement also, because you will not have any option but to retire when the time will be ripe. In fact, those people that have employed themselves have a great advantage in relation to retirement because it is them to decide when to retire or they are rendered inactive and sent to retire early because of health issues. But as for you, who is officially employed in a white-collar job, employed by a government, an organization, an institution, or any other public entity or private entity that has a mandatory retirement age, then as for you, you have no option but to prepare early for your retirement because you cannot postpone your retirement once that time or date clocks. In such a case, unless you intend to take an early retirement, you will have to retire when the time will come. In addition, if you are married, always note that retirement planning should not be a single party show. For this reason, if you have a spouse, you must both coordinate your retirement plans together. Therefore, if both of you are employed, still plan and prepare for your retirement together, even if you are both retiring at different or the same time. For this reason, even if you are self-employed, while your partner is employed by another employer, or even if one of you is not employed while the other is employed, or in case both of you are employed, you all still have to prepare for your retirement together, even if one of you will retire before the other. Simply put, retirement is not a one person's affair because its effect is experienced by all the involved parties. That is, by you and your spouse, and sometimes even by your other family members. You should therefore not hide your retirement from your spouse, but you should prepare him or her concerning your retirement so that he or she does not get surprised when he or she gets to know about your retirement. You can therefore know that you are prepared for retirement if you and your spouse are in agreement on how you will live together after retirement and are both financially and emotionally ready for retirement. You should therefore discuss how the retirement will affect your standard of living and how you will both cope with it. Therefore, if both of you are employed or it's only one of you who is employed, always work out the best timing for each of you or both of you to retire. It is therefore vital for you to communicate in advance concerning your retirement and lay strategies on how you will go about it so that it does not negatively affect you or your other family members' peace of mind in relation to transitioning from your employment to retirement. Retirement phase is therefore a crucial phase in one's life that should be adequately planned for. Why? Because there is no need to have or to have worked for all those years only for you to lead a miserable life in old age just because you failed to plan for it. For this reason, retirement planning is important for everyone, regardless of whether you are employed, you are not employed, or you are self-employed. This is because you will retire one day, either conditionally or unconditionally. And for this reason, it is good to plan so that you can have a smooth, comfortable life after retirement, and so that you are not forced out of office due to refusal to leave that office after retirement simply because you have discovered that you are not ready to retire. It is vital that you adequately prepare for your retirement so that you don't become a burden to your kids at old age. With the fact being that you can retire either voluntarily or after the mandatory age of retirement, it is vital and it is very important that you think very carefully about your move towards retirement, as well as ensuring that you retire at the right time, because if you take such an action emotionally and erratically, you may regret your move later or later on when the reality about retirement will strike. In fact, retiring is a huge life event which can sometimes leave us feeling like we have lost our identity. It is important to bear in mind that life after retirement is expensive for you to be able to maintain your standard of living, because you will have ceased from your active public life. You therefore need to be aware about your retirement needs. Also, as you prepare for retirement, note that retirement is a big part of your life, and therefore you should never underestimate how long you may live after you retire. It is always good to think positively that you will live for very many years in this world after you retire, so that you can be able to plan for a long retirement period. Remember that you don't retire to tire and die, but you retire to enjoy the benefits and the fruits for your many years of hard work. I repeat, you don't retire to tire and die, but you retire in order to enjoy the benefits and the fruits of your many years of private or public service. For this reason, You should look at retirement as an opportunity to allow you do all that you could have done while active in service, but while being careful not to engage in areas that you are not familiar with or knowledgeable about, because they can turn your retirement into doom of uncertainty. I repeat, for this reason, look at retirement as an opportunity to allow you do all that you could not do while active in service, but while being careful, not to engage in areas that you are not used to, in areas that you are not familiar with or knowledgeable about, because by engaging on such unfamiliar territories, you may turn your retirement into doom of uncertainty, especially if those new experiences, if those new territories bring serious negative effects, not only to your health, but even to your retirement savings and your retirement investments. For that reason, it is important that you only engage yourself after retirement in areas that you are familiar with, in activities that you are knowledgeable about, in activities that relate to what you have been doing for all your working life before retiring. So, plan to have a long and healthy life in retirement. For this reason, make sure that you diversify your savings and your income as you save and invest as much as you can, and for as long as you don't overstrain or overstress yourself. Whether your retirement seems to be a decade away, or a few years away, or a few days away, or a few weeks away, you all still need to plan for your retirement by setting realistic goals and carefully planning so that you can be able to enjoy your retirement. This simply means that retirement is not an area or an activity that is only reserved for a few. It simply means that retirement planning, retirement preparation is an activity, and it is a mandatory activity that should be executed by each and every person, regardless of his or her work, and regardless of his or her age, or regardless of how many years that one expects to work. Always remember that retirement planning is therefore for all, and it is never too late to commence. So, if you are listening to me, this being your first time to think about retirement planning, don't worry. You are on time. What you just need to do is to implement the items or the activities that I am going to discuss in this presentation or in this talk. In fact, Even if you don't have a detailed plan for retirement in place, taking smaller steps now can make a big difference in your life as you approach your retirement. You should therefore envision the kind of retirement life that you would like to have after you retire. Think about any kind of jobs you would like to do after you retire and the financial resources that you would like to have. In addition, you can determine if your current financial resources will be enough to cater for your financial needs after retirement. Then, if you find that they will not be adequate, you can think of alternative or additional means to use to attain the financial resources status that you will need. Think about your current expenses and what you can avoid in order to increase your level of savings. The following are therefore the methods and strategies that you can apply to adequately prepare and plan for your retirement. Number one, create a plan for your retirement. Number two, create a retirement budget. Number three, strategize on your healthcare provision after retirement. Number four, create an account for emergencies. Number five, formulate a will on inheritance of your property. Number six, announce and proceed to your retirement. I am therefore, or we are therefore, going to look at each of these aspects so that you can be able to benefit from this presentation and have this presentation or this talk become a life changer to your life. Let's commence by looking at creation of a plan for retirement. You need to note the following as you create a plan for the type of retirement that you would like to have so that you can remain on track towards a successful retirement. Number one, always commence by writing down your retirement goals so that they can guide you in your journey towards retirement. This is because the goals that you will set will determine the level of savings that you will require to finance those goals. Therefore, be honest with yourself as you set your goals so that you can be realistic enough to develop goals that you can start working towards your attainment just now or towards their attainment just now. Such goals should be achievable short and long-term goals, such as how much to save per month and how much you should have saved by a certain age from today. Number two, you can also talk to retirees on their experience concerning retirement. So, due to the fact that you have not retired yourself, you might not be having adequate facts about the realities of retirement. It is for this reason that you should be able to identify some retirees and request them to share with you some of their experiences after retirement and how they have been able to navigate through the storms of retirement. You can then be able to learn some strategies that you can put in place in order to help you make your retirement goals become a reality. Number three, in addition, you should make a decision on whether you will fully cease working after retirement or you will just slow down in your work and operate, for example, on a part-time basis. It is advisable that you come up with some jobs that you can comfortably perform, but in your line of work after retirement without strain, instead of retiring and then you just stay idle. This is because if you retire and you just remain idle as you spend your retirement savings and investments, you may develop other health-related challenges. It is therefore better to think of other activities or jobs that can keep you busy after retirement while they still bring to you some income that can then complement your savings. You therefore also need to save for such alternative sources of income after retirement. Number four, formulate a plan on how you are going to manage your time. You need to think about what you are going to be doing with the much free time that you will be having at your disposal because you will not be actively involved in your previous job or in your current job, and that can be very boring. To spend all your time gazing at those walls of your house without anything to do. In such a case, it is good to think about those things that you ever wanted to do, but because of your busy schedule, you could not be able to do them. Then plan on how you are going to achieve them using that free time, which will be on your hands, as long as they will not make you strain or get stressed. Some of such activities may include writing a book, composing a song, teaching part-time, volunteering in activities that you love, amongst the other such simple but good and entertaining activities. You should therefore plan how you will be spending your time. You need to think about how you'll be spending that retirement period. That is, what will you be doing on daily basis after you retire? You should therefore think about what you are saving for and how you will be spending your time after retirement because that's the purpose for your saving for retirement. Number 5, you also need to plan on your residence after retirement. It is important to note that the place where you will spend your life after retirement will dictate how much you will require to sustain your day-to-day standard of living. For this reason, your place of residence in retirement plays a key role in determining your expenses. If, for example, you decide to live in an expensive location while hiring or renting places of residence, your daily expenses in such a place will also be high compared to when you decide to live and build your own home before you retire in a rural place, which of course will be a low tax area. It is therefore better to plan to live in a cheap residential location that mostly and preferably you have built and constructed yourself before you retire, and that will be ready for your occupation by the time you'll be retiring or even before you retire, based on your savings portfolio, so that you can be able to have free or set free some of the expenses that you would have incurred if you were to live in an expensive place to cater for other needs. In other words, ensure that you will live in a home which you have built and constructed yourself before you retire, that will be financially sustainable. It is therefore better to think about the place and the type of home in which you would like to spend your retirement life, and where possible, just as I have said, you construct your retirement home before you retire so that you will not use your pension and other retirement investments and savings in constructing or acquiring a home or paying for rents or a mortgage after you have already retired. In fact, how sweet it would be if you prepared for your retirement by making a decision as to where you would like to live after retirement, and then you take step to construct that residential home, that house, that dream house, and then it becomes ready for occupation before you retire, so that when you retire, you don't disturb yourself, you don't get worried thinking about where you are going to be, because you will already be having a home. How wonderful it is! How wonderful it is for a retiree or a person who is about to retire to have already constructed a home, and that home will not be being paid for rents by the retiree. In other words, how wonderful it can be if, my dear listener and my dear viewer, you can construct your home and retire having cleared any debts or loans that you might have been having or that you might have incurred during the construction of this home. How wonderful it would be if you can retire in your own residence. In addition, consider any opportunities of income that may exist where you'll be residing and whether that environment where you'll be residing will enable you to be adventurous. Also, plan on how you are going to invest in personal relationships, such as establishing close relationships with the people that you will be spending your retirement life with. It can be very, very, very unsatisfying. It can bring to you discomfort if you retire and then you live in a community where you are not known. You live in a place where you have nobody to interact with just because you did not take your time to establish personal relationships and friendships with the people that will be where you will be when you retire or around where you are going to be when you retire. It is for that reason that you should also strive to establish personal relationships with those people or members of that community where you will be residing when you retire. This can be spending some time with your friends and family, as well as creating networks with the community where you expect to spend your retirement period. This can also be through participation in community activities, as well as pursuing opportunities for further learning on areas that you would like to spend the rest of your life being engaged in. This means that if you are interested in, for example, carrying out a certain business after you retire, or you are interested in carrying out a certain activity after you retire, it is good that you acquire adequate knowledge and skills concerning that activity before you retire, so that once you retire, you will have the knowledge, you will be having the skills, you will be having the knowledge about what you require in execution of that activity. With this retirement plan, you should also identify the hobbies that you will be engaging in after retirement and commence them now so that by the time you retire, you will have been used to them. If you want to be playing football, simple football, when you retire, then you need to practice and exercise and gain skills on the same, and you practice the same before you retire. Because if you wait till you retire, and then now you start engaging yourself in hobbies that you are not used to, it might not be that easy. You might not even enjoy. Therefore, as part of your retirement planning, think about those hobbies that you will be doing or engaged in after retirement so that you can commence now. And then by the time you'll be retiring, you already have been used to those hobbies. Don't be a stranger to your hobbies after retirement because they will also be strangers to you. A stranger and a stranger may not be able to rhyme together. Therefore, if there is an hobby that you like to be engaged in or with after you retire, engage yourself in that hobby now. And if you had not thought about the hobby that will be doing on hobbies that will be doing after retire, then once I'm through with this presentation, or once you are through with this presentation, kindly ensure that as part of your retirement planning, you also think of hobbies or hobby that will be being engaged in, and then you start working on it today. It is important for you to remain active after retirement while at the same time remaining consistent in your physical activities. Also, you can think about at least 3 things or activities that you would like to do in retirement so that they can motivate you to set up finances to make them happen. You should also establish some part-time activities and employment opportunities that you can engage in after retirement. It is very important to think about the kind of part-time work that you will be engaged in after retirement so that you can be able to complement your retirement income and also help you to stay active. So, if you would like to stay at home, you should still search for some online jobs that you will be able to do, and those which will not make you incur expenses while traveling or commuting. In addition, you need to plan on how and when you will be reviewing your retirement options so that you can be able to choose the right option for your retirement savings. You can liaise with your financial advisor, your human resource department officer, as well as the department in charge of pensions for advice. It is also important for you to be reviewing your retirement plans by choosing your target retirement age for the various pensions that you might have and think about when you would like to take those savings. Remember that the more you save for your retirement, the more the income that you will have when you retire. The following are therefore some of the questions that you should be ready to ask yourself and answer them accurately while preparing your retirement plan. Number 1 is when you would like to retire. But for those, of course, who have mandatory age requirement for retirement, those ones have no option because they will retire. But if you are self-employed, then you need to think about the day or the time when, or the date when you are going to retire from what you do. Number 2 is where you will live when you retire. If it's in your own house, in a rented house, amongst the other options. Number 3 is the age at which you plan to retire. Number 4, in which retirement savings plan can you participate in? Number 5, when your partner or your spouse will be retiring too, if he or she is existing, or if you have one. Number 6 is whether you'll be having some work to do after retirement, such as part-time jobs, amongst the others. Number 7 is whether you have the current medical insurance cover taking care of your medical needs after you retire, or you will need another plan. Number 8 is the type of hobby you'll be engaged in, whether it is the current hobby that you have or it will be a new one. Number 2 is creating a retirement budget. Create a retirement budget. In order to maximize your income flow before and during your retirement period, you should be making it a habit to be planning for your finances. Don't be a person who lives between the hand and the mouth. What do I mean? Don't be a person who spends your income extravagantly. Don't be a person who just picks income or some money once you get it and then you spend it completely. Don't be like an animal. You know, when an animal gets food, it eats everything at once. But of course, there are some animals which are also smart. There are some animals which, when they get huge amounts of food, they also hide some for future consumption. And therefore, don't be a person who spends everything without any plan immediately you have gotten it. So, you need to maximize your income flow before and during your retirement period by making it a habit to be planning for your finances, regardless of how much they are, and regardless of the method you have used to get it, so that you can be able to save something for the rainy day. It is important that you always and regularly set aside some of your time, for example, 1 hour on a weekly basis, to go over your budget, your long-term savings, and your other money matters. And then you make the necessary adjustments to your budgets as necessary. By so doing, you will not have a problem in paying attention to your budget after retirement because you will have made it a routine or a habit, and therefore it will be easy for you to also make adjustments to your monthly and annual spending plans as will be needed in retirement, and of course, even before retirement. So, in order to have a successful retirement, you need to be aware about how much you need for your retirement and how much you will need to save for your retirement. If you don't know, you should immediately liaise with your financial advisor so that you can know how much you should have invested by today and how much you need to earn in order to attain your retirement target before you retire while still maintaining your current lifestyle. You should be reviewing and updating your target regularly but upwards as your retirement date approaches. Always spend your income guided by a budget. Now, with this retirement budget, or with this budget that you make, you should ensure and make sure that at least 15% of your every income is put aside for retirement, and then you distribute what remains to various other goals based on their priorities. Let me break it for you. Let me break down this for you. If, for example, today, you get 150 shillings, before you use that amount, before you spend that 150 shillings, you must remove 15% of that amount and you put it in your retirement account. What is 15% of 150 shillings, for example? 15% of 150 shillings is 10 shillings. On what is it? Just compute. 15% of 150, that is 15 over 100 times 150. You get that figure. And then once you get that figure or that amount, you remove it from the amount which you have and you put it aside for your retirement. So immediately you get an income, whether it is somebody giving that amount as a gift, whether you have worked for a short time job and you have gotten or you have been paid certain amount, whether you've been contracted for a certain activity and you're being paid for it, once you receive that amount, compute 15% minimum of 15% and save it for your retirement. And what I'm saying here, my dear viewers and listeners, is that 15% is on the minimum or on the lowest side. You can save as much as possible, but the key is don't go below 15%. If you get 1,000 shillings, before you have decided or before you have used it, calculate 15% of that 1,000. 15% of 1,000 is simply 150. So you remove 150 from 1,000. What remains is what is your money that you can currently use and distribute amongst your other needs. And also, straight from that, spare something for savings. Avoid being a person that spends your income in the normal, ordinary daily activities, day in, day out, without a clear plan or budget on how much you should or how much should be spent in what. So, always make sure that you develop a clear budget on how your income will be spent before you start spending it. You must minimize on wants and spend on needs that you require to lead a standard life. Don't be a person that has a show-off attitude based on how you spend your income while saving nothing for your retirement. Don't be a person who goes to the market with your money in the pocket without any clear budget. And then when you see anything you buy, you see another one you buy, you see another one you buy, you see another one you buy. My friend, by so doing, you'll be destroying your future. So, ensure that for you to be able to save for your retirement and have a good future, you plan for your income or for your monies wisely by minimizing your wants and spending more and spending on your needs. But remember, you must save at least 15% for your retirement. It is better to lead a simple standard life while working, and then you spend a good and comfortable life after retirement, than to lead an extravagant life today while working, and then you lead a life of misery after retirement. In fact, if you lead a misery life after retirement, you become a laughing stock of your village and a laughing stock to your friends. They will be wondering, what have you been doing for all those years? Therefore, think about your future. Think about your retirement period. And how do you think about it? Not by talking, but by doing. And how do you go about it? Start by saving 15% of every income for your future. You are therefore able to know that you are ready to retire if you have created a retirement budget, and that budget reflects clearly that you can live comfortably on your post-retirement income. Such a budget should be guided by your current monthly expenses, which entails adding all your mandatory monthly costs, your high priority wants, such as travels, entertainments, amongst the others. For you to know your approximated retirement income, and up your estimated social security benefits, your pension payments, your retirement account savings, your retirement investment, and income from other sources that you will have, and then you deduct the expected taxes or expenses. If you don't know how to develop a retirement budget, kindly liaise with your financial advisor or the Social Security Department for advice. In addition, you develop this budget, or as you develop this budget, it is important to ensure that you think of various sources of your income in retirement, because if you will only rely on pension benefits, you may not be able to cater for all your retirement needs. Therefore, if you find out that you have enough finances to cater for your monthly expenses after you retire for about 30 years after retirement, then you might be ready for retirement. However, just as I have said, as a baseline, remember to be saving at least 15% of your monthly income for your retirement. You will need about 80% of what you earn now during retirement. This income should come from your savings, investments, pension, amongst the other sources of income that you will have established before you retire. Always remember that even if you don't have a detailed plan for retirement in place, taking smaller steps now can make a big difference in your life as you approach your retirement. You should therefore compute your likely retirement income by estimating all your predictable income from your savings, pensions, investment accounts, wages, amongst others. Then, when it comes to spending during your retirement, it is advisable that you be withdrawing or spending 4% of your retirement assets or savings annually in retirement so that you don't exhaust your wealth, yet you still have a life to live. This simply means that for you to be able to be guaranteed of having something for you to use from your retirement savings and investments, you ensure that your monthly or annual budget, or expenses only spends 4% of what you will have as your retirement assets. And when I talk about retirement assets, I am referring to what you have in cash with you, what will be cash in your bank, or what will be cash in other forms, and what you have invested or what you have put in investments. That expenditure can then be added to your savings and other incomes to support your envisioned retirement. However, you can increase your withdrawal rate from 4% upwards as you age, and especially after every 5 years. What I mean is this. If, for example, you retired at age 60, in your first year to your fifth year, that is from age 60 to 64, that is 5 years, you should be using only 4% of your retirement assets. But when you crop age 65 to age 69, that is some more 5 years, you can increase your spending from 4% to 5%. So this simply means that as you age, since when you retired, you can continue increasing your withdrawals. And of course, that might also be meaning that as you age, certain needs increase. So after you retire, if you can be able to make use of other alternative sources of income other than what you have saved to sustain yourself, instead of tapping on your retirement accounts, then that can be a big boost. That can boost your retirement funds, and your savings can last longer. In order for you to know your current net worth or your current financial standing as you gear up towards your retirement, add up everything that you currently own, inclusive of your investments and savings, and then subtract all that you owe. So you should always ensure that you are able to estimate how much finances you require after your retirement in order to be able to maintain your standard of living that will be guided by your today's expenditure. You should therefore take charge of your future financial needs by planning your retirement finances ahead of your retirement. Further, in order to know how to maximize your income flow before and during your retirement period, you should increase your financial knowledge. It is important that you don't stay in a comfort zone while just relying on your salary, because if you do, this might not only be unable to meet your current financial needs, but it may also not guarantee you a comfortable retirement. So you must have other sources of income. You must initiate those sources just now so that they can add to your income, so that they can add to your salary. Don't just be a person that only lives on what you earn, and then what you save is just what remains. How wonderful it can be if you can have alternative sources of income today that can add to what you are being paid. If you rely on your salary only, my dear friend, I want to tell you that not only are you going to die poor, but you will also become very miserable after your retirement. So, if any employer does not allow you to engage on some part-time activities, yet you are performing that organization's job perfectly, and you are not using organizational time for your own benefit, then such an employer does not even care about your future. A good employer should be one that ensures that as long as his or her staff is meeting the set objectives, is helping the organization achieve the set targets and the set goals, this staff is also allowed to perform other activities that can generate some more income. Otherwise, if an employer does not allow his or her staff to engage in other alternative means of income, yet they are performing their duties the way they should, then such an employer should pay the staff enough salary that is not only enough for upkeep, enough to keep this person or this staff get all what he or she needs currently, but that is also adequate to sustain him or her after retirement, which may not be possible. Therefore, as long as an employee, as long as a staff is performing his or her duties assigned perfectly and is accomplishing his or her set targets, there is no reason as to why an employer should stop or hinder this staff from engaging in alternative means of gaining income, because when an employee or a staff is able to earn extra income, he or she will also be able to increase his or her savings for retirement. And by so doing, such a staff will be able to retire a happy man, a happy woman, a respected and honorable citizen of the country. For this reason, it is important that you increase your financial knowledge by reading money books, available investment options, and others in order for you to be able to keep track of your personal finances while at the same time gaining knowledge on how to best invest to supplement your retirement budget. You can also seek for a financial advisor who can help you think about your retirement and plan ahead. In addition, you can consider regularly visiting a financial website for frequent updates on the available investment options, or even subscribing to a newsletter that can provide news and advice about the personal finance topics. The following are therefore some of the major tasks that you must execute in relation to your retirement budget before you can retire, as well as to help you know whether you are prepared to retire or not. Number one is you minimize on taxes and expenditures. Even if you don't have a detailed plan for retirement in place, just as I have said, taking smaller steps now can make a big difference in your life as you approach your retirement. You should therefore estimate your retirement expenses and try to minimize them as soon as now. Don't have the attitude of saying that because you are the one that is earning, you have the right to spend and incur any expenses the way you want with your income. Always remember that your future after retirement depends on the acts that you carry out today with your income. It is therefore always important to take into consideration your probable expenses after retirement so that you can have a rough figure concerning the amount that you will be left with after incurring expenditure. So, your retirement expenditure will depend on how you will be living after retirement and the spending habit that you will develop today and before retirement, and that one which you have today. I repeat, so that this point can sink into your ears. Your retirement expenditure will depend on how you'll be living after retirement and the spending habit that you will develop before retirement, or that habit of spending that you have today. Ensure that you always look at your monthly budget and find out the areas or items whose costs you can cut down. This is because as you trim your monthly expenses by spending less in certain items, the more you will have left to save for your retirement. When you save this money in your retirement account, you will be surprised at how much you will have gained from your compound interest. You should therefore cut off unnecessary costs as soon as now. Before and after retirement, you need to ensure that you minimize your expenses as much as possible, especially on wants. Remember that wants are those things that you can do without. For example, you can cut your entertainment bills by watching and streaming music and videos that are free, watching television channels that are free to air, reading books and materials that are free to download, as well as reading those that are already in your library or in your organization's library instead of paying for such materials, as well as dropping any activity that does not directly add any value to your existence. In addition, in order to maximize your income flow before and during your retirement period, you should avoid overspending on wants by having a lean living while in employment. As you invest your excess income towards your retirement and also leading a standard life after retirement while keeping control of your expenses. This can be made possible by taking your time to consider whether and how a purchase that you want to do will make your life more secure, easier, or happier, while avoiding anything that will be contrary to this fact. This also includes minimization of your taxes so as to maximize your retirement savings. Therefore, while you are in your active work life, it is good to avoid some unnecessary expenditures whose tax is set at high levels for the purposes of discouraging their purchase and use. Therefore, if a certain item has a high tax and it's not a need, it's good to avoid or minimize the use of such, because by avoiding such, you can be able to save those finances that would have been spent to cater for such taxes and invest them in your retirement savings or investment. Similarly, you should never allow any problem to intimidate you into withdrawing your pension savings before retirement period, because by so doing, you may attract penalties and lose tax benefits. This also goes to your personal savings. Don't allow any problem to intimidate you into withdrawing your retirement savings before your retirement time. So, even if you change jobs, leave your investment in the current retirement plan as it is. However, if you don't know about how you can minimize your expenses and or your taxes, liaise with an accountant or a financial professional to advise you on how you can manage your taxes and expenses before and during your retirement. The second action you need to take before you retire is to ensure that you have cleared all your debts. It is very important to ensure that you have cleared all your pending debts before you retire. This is because if you make a mistake and retire while owing organizations, institutions, or individuals debts, this may torment you during your retirement period, and you may not be able to enjoy your retirement savings and investments. It is therefore very important to ensure that even as you take loans and other debts while active in service, you don't take loans and debts that will follow you all the way after you have retired, and especially if you have been repaying those loans, or if you will be repaying those loans or debts from your salary or from the income that you make during your active working period. This is because if you retire with such loans or debts, you will be required to finance those loans and debts from your retirement savings and benefits or investments. So, always ensure that if you must take loans or debts, let your financial advisors inform you about the last date of repayment so that such date does not occur after you have retired. You therefore need to know that you are well positioned for retirement, and you will know that you are well positioned for your retirement when you find out that you owe nobody in debt. That is, when you find out that you are debt or loan free. Note that if you are given mandatory retirement while you still owe anybody a loan or other types of debts, you will have to struggle repaying such monies after retirement, and that may make you not enjoy your retirement, and such may also destabilize your retirement plans. In addition, if you have any pending debts, you should gradually reduce your debt size so that by the time you retire, you will have cleared all your debts. If you realize that you may retire owing anybody his or her debts, you can accelerate your payments so that you will have fully paid all your loans or debts by the time your retirement date clocks. In addition, as you approach your retirement date, make most of your payments in cash in order to avoid any new debts or any charges that may accrue when transacting using credit cards. Also, avoid using your retirement savings, investments, or pension in acquiring resources that will be spending your savings themselves, such as cars, etc., that may consume all your savings, leading you into a stressful retirement. For this reason, discipline yourself to live below your means. Discipline yourself to live below your means. In other words, avoid spending more than you earn, or avoid spending all that you earn. I repeat, discipline yourself to live below your means. Don't spend all that you earn, and don't spend beyond your earnings. So, in order to maximize your income flow before and during your retirement period, you should avoid debts as much as possible, because debt repayment after retirement can be emotionally and financially stressing. This is because being debt-free ensures that you have full control over your total income and where it is spent. Therefore, if you owe anyone any debts, find out if you can be able to clear it now. And if it's not possible to do so, take an action to refinance it and clear it before retirement. You therefore need to prioritize your debt elimination before you retire. Number 3, build up your savings and investment portfolio. Don't just be caught up with news concerning your retirement because it requires a lot of planning and consideration. Always remember to calculate how much you will need for your retirement. This is because saving is very important, and putting money for retirement is a habit that everyone needs to develop. In addition, you should not be an employee who just puts his or her hope on the government's pension after retirement, because if you just rely on such pension, you cannot enjoy your retirement and you will not even enjoy the life you are going to live, because you will not live or enjoy your retirement as you would have wanted. In fact, relying on just your government's pension after retirement or your organization's pension after retirement can even be very frustrating, because the processing of that pension may even delay. Kindly note that such social security benefits can never be adequate for you. Therefore, whereas getting pension after retirement may be a boost to you, you should build up other forms of savings and investments that can even be earning you income after retirement. So, as you work now, while energetic enough, you must work towards growing your net worth on daily basis or monthly basis. Continuously and progressively increase your retirement savings, including increasing your contributions to your pension as you near your retirement age. As you near retirement, consolidate your various accounts into one and host it with one institution that will allow you to easily access your resources and savings with ease. In addition, if you are a united couple, you can also consolidate your accounts into one and host it with a financial institution that is easily accessible from your retirement residence, or you can as well maintain each individual's retirement accounts, but keep them updated, with each one of you being aware of the other person's individual retirement account. This will help you to simplify management of your investments and also help you to have a clear knowledge about your total retirement assets. It is also advisable that you visit all your former employers so that they can inform you concerning any pension or gratuity accounts that they may be holding for you, and you should never change your jobs before you have full information concerning any of your pension or graduate savings that might have accrued during your service time. In fact, you can also know that you are ready for retirement if you scrutinize your investment portfolio and realize that it's updated to cater for your retirement needs. It is important to sit with your financial advisor and assess carefully your investment portfolio and figure out whether you need to make any adjustments, such as shifting to a more conservative investment strategy to protect your retirement wealth. It is therefore important that as you actively perform your daily activities in employment, you ensure that you put some of your earnings in investments, because such investments will influence your ability to live off your savings at the onset of your retirement. So, your retirement investment portfolio will entail looking at the size of your savings or investments upon retiring, the average annual return from your savings and investments, and the amount you will be withdrawing annually for your upkeep from your investments and savings. However, remember to be very careful when making a decision concerning how and where to invest for your retirement, so that you don't invest in activities that may threaten your investments. It is therefore important to always liaise with a competent financial advisor that specializes in retirement planning to assist you in determining the types of investments that will best fit your financial situation now as well as in the future. Also, be careful when initiating certain projects after retirement, so that you don't invest in businesses that you are not knowledgeable about or have no skills in, or investing in very risky business ventures that you are not used to. Always remember that your social security or retirement pension payment is just a sort of safety net and not your primary source of income during retirement, because it might not maintain your standard of life in retirement. So, if you want to achieve your retirement goals, which are not optional but mandatory, because you deserve to lead a comfortable retirement life after having served the populace during your youthful life, then you must commence disciplined saving, spending, and investing now. Now, not tomorrow, now. This might make you feel overwhelmed as you near your retirement age, but it's worth the cost. For this reason, to comfortably transit into retirement, you should maximize on your contributions into the retirement accounts, assessing asset allocation for changing investment time horizons and risk profile. In addition, saving for your retirement fund as early as possible is one of the best things that you can ever do to yourself later in your life, because any amount that you save for retirement today is helpful and will aid in your sense of long-term financial security. Always remember to check your investment portfolio in order to see whether you are in the right track towards your financial freedom after retirement. Also, once the retirement date and the time has approached, you can convert some of your resources or investments into cash, whereby you can save it in bank that is accessible whenever you need it, and also keeping some money in cash with you. Therefore, because there are certain investments that you may not be able to convert into cash, immediately a need for cash arises in old age, it's better to sell some of such resources and save that income in cash. This is because as you age, it becomes easier to make use of cash other than struggling looking for investors that can convert your investment into cash that you need with the urgency in the case of an urgent need. In addition, when you retire, sell off some of your resources and save them in cash, especially those that might be making you incur extra cost in order to maintain them, yet you can even do without them. For example, if you and your spouse possesses personal vehicles, you can sell some of those personal vehicles and be left with at least one personal car that can be utilized by both of you. And by doing such, you will be able to save your sales into a retirement account. By doing this also, you will be able to minimize the costs you would have incurred in insuring those cars, inspection charges for those cars, fueling those cars, amongst other expenses. It is important to note that you will always reap from what you have sown. Therefore, don't expect miracles after retirement if you have not adequately prepared for the same. Avoid being a spendthrift who fail to save for his or her retirement, because if you do, you will ultimately struggle during retirement, leading to frustrations and early exit from this wonderful world before your due time is ripe. You therefore need to commence or continue implementing the following two major activities aggressively in order to pave your pathway to retirement, regardless of how long you remain active before your retirement date and the time. So, which are these two major activities that you must aggressively be engaged in? These are: number one, growing and diversifying in your savings. What do I mean? Always hope for a long life after retirement and therefore plan for a long life and save with that perspective in mind. After all, even if you don't live long, there is nothing that can be as satisfying as leaving behind the savings that are adequate to sustain your family or your dependents for as long as possible years after your death. You should therefore eradicate the mentality that once you have retired, the next major step in your life is to die. Never allow the death mentality to linger in your mind. I repeat, you should therefore eradicate the mentality that once you have retired, then the next major step in your life is death. Never, never allow such death mentality to linger in your mind. Always view retirement as an opportunity to lead a comfortable life whereby you are your own boss and you can enjoy yourself as much as possible without any control from any boss. For this reason, you need to strive and sacrifice to save for your retirement now for a wonderful life after retirement. In addition, you should not view your retirement as the end of earning income, but your investments should continue growing long after your active working life so as to reduce the risk of outliving your savings and keep pace with the inflation. That is why one of the goals of retirement planning is to build up enough assets to provide you with adequate income and help you meet your needs before and during retirement. For this reason, you should start saving for your retirement as early as possible, and this as early is as today if you hadn't started already. I repeat, so that this point can sink in your mind. You should start saving for your retirement as early as possible, and this can be as early as today if you had not yet started doing that already. In fact, it is better to plan and start saving for your retirement while you are in your early 20s because you will have longer time to accumulate your retirement savings and it will have lower premium amount as it will add up to a higher investment value as time passes. And that is why saving for retirement is not only for those old people. Saving for retirement is not for those who are nearing their mandatory retirement age. But saving for retirement is in fact extremely good for those who have started working just now, and more so those who are in their early 20s. However, you can even start saving at the 50s and beyond because the only difference will be that you will require to be bolder and more aggressive in your savings than if you had commenced saving early. In fact, struggling and striving to save beyond 50s can be a real work, can be a real challenge. So, in as much as you can start saving beyond your 50s, especially if you are listening to me and you are beyond age 50, you can still save. But what I am saying is that if you had not started saving for your retirement and you are past 50, you need to be very broad in your saving. You need to up your game. You need to save as much as possible. In fact, you need to make a lot of sacrifice so that by the time you are exiting service because of retirement, you have saved enough as you would have saved earlier in your early 20s. So always ensure that you continuously save every month for your retirement, regardless of how much you may be earning, and without any excuses, because great saving is an accumulation of little or small savings. So start small, but increase your savings as you progress, because it is never too early or too late to start saving. Never say that I will start saving for retirement tomorrow, because your tomorrow's financial freedom depends on your level of your today's savings. I repeat, never ever say that you are going to start saving for your retirement tomorrow, because your tomorrow's financial freedom depends on your today's level of saving. If you are self-employed or working with an employer who does not offer a retirement plan, or if you are not employed and you don't have any guaranteed income after every or a certain period, you still have to save. Even if you are a cash worker, even if you just get a job and you work for a day and you don't know where your tomorrow or where your tomorrow's income will come from, you are still not exempted from saving. So, what each one of you should do if you have challenges on this aspect of saving is to visit a financial service firm, for example, a big bank or brokerage firms, for a retirement plan and advice. It is important to note that you don't start preparing for your retirement when you are about to attain the retirement age, but you should initiate the process and commence saving for your retirement as early as now, regardless of your age. In fact, the earlier you start saving for your retirement, the easier it will be for you to accumulate your savings. You therefore need to ensure that you set your retirement goals as early as possible and start saving for those goals, and you stick to them. This is because savings ensure that you live comfortably in retirement, as well as helping you avoid being a burden to your relatives and your family. It is therefore important that you steadily and progressively save for your retirement, regardless of your age. If you can be saving, just as I have said, at least a minimum of 15% of your income per year for your retirement, that can be an approximate saving level for your retirement. That can be an appropriate saving level for your retirement. Always assess your current financial status so that you can know where you stand in respect to your retirement savings. Then act immediately if you realize that you are lagging behind in this move. Always ensure that you implement reasonable savings that are neither too low to give you false hopes, nor too high to make you strain as you save. For you to have some clue on how much you should be saving for your retirement, familiarize yourself about the assets that you will need when you retire, which can be tagged at between 7 to 13 times of your pre-retirement gross income. So, if you commence saving for your retirement when you are almost about to retire, you will require to save much more than 15% of your income for this purpose. If you find out that you have a problem with saving for your retirement, seek for financial advice from your human resource department or the department in charge of social security fund or any other financial institution. Also, if you change jobs and your employers have been making deductions for retirement, you can be requesting your employers to allow you move with your money and then roll that money over to new employers' retirement plan. This is because it is always advisable to keep all your retirement money in one place and in one account for ease of management. However, as you save, don't stretch yourself beyond limits because that may either stress you or make saving look like an impossibility, yet saving should look like entertainment. So, you have no other option but to save and keep on saving for your retirement without any excuses. If you find out that you cannot be able to save for your retirement after you have received some cash, authorize your bank or your employer to be automatically deducting you some money that you want to save for your retirement and have it deposited to your retirement account or in a reliable investment. You can therefore open your individual retirement savings account through your bank or any other financial institution and then authorize your employer and your financial institution to be automatically deducting you some amount of money from your paycheck and have it automatically deposited into this retirement account. Therefore, my dear listener and my dear viewer, let me ask you this question. Do you have your own individual retirement savings account with a financial institution? And when I mean individual retirement savings account, I don't mean that account that you use to receive your salary. I don't mean that account that you use for other activities. I mean an account whose deposits can only be withdrawn after you retire. That savings account that cannot be used for any other activity till you retire. It is only used for deposits, only to deposit money into it. If you don't have such an individual retirement savings account, then that's where you should begin. Open one today with a reliable financial institution. And let that account be purely for retirement savings. Authorize your bank not to allow you deduct any cent from that account till a certain period is over. Authorize that insurance, authorize that financial institution to ensure that whatever is in that account can only accrue interest, but should not be an account from where you can withdraw when you want. Note that the key towards achieving your successful retirement and financial freedom is to continuously save as much as possible for your retirement and as early as you secure your first job, regardless of whether you are employed or you have employed yourself. Always save from what you have now and don't wait to start saving from what you will earn tomorrow. I repeat, always save from what you have now. And even when tomorrow comes, save from what you have then. So what I mean is, you need to start saving from what you have now without saying that you will start saving tomorrow because you don't know what you'll be earning tomorrow. And after all, if you start saving from what you have now, whatever it is, you will still have that same motivation to save even tomorrow from what you earn tomorrow. This is because the earlier you start the saving process, the better, because you can start saving for your retirement late, or because when you start saving for your retirement late, you will need to work a little harder to catch up and must save more than you would have done if you started saving earlier. Always remember that you are never late to save for your retirement. Also, make sure that you contribute to any social security funds that might have been established by your employer or the government. This is because Social Security provides you with a source of income when you retire, or if you can't work due to a disability, it can also support your legal dependents with benefits in the event of your death. It is almost important, or it is also important, that you be liaising with your employer or the body in charge of pensions so that you can be aware of the amount of pension you are owed and seek for legal help in case you are experiencing problems with your pension. Also make sure that you have all the information that you require to know concerning your pension before you retire, such as the terms of payment of your pension, whether your pension will attract tax, etc. So, always remember to continuously contribute to your employer's retirement savings plan, because the more you save monthly, the more savings you will have after retirement. You should therefore be contributing as much as you can in addition to your employer's pension deductions. For this reason, it is advisable that you liaise with your employer to know whether there is a plan that covers for your pension and how it works, as well as your expected benefits, so that you can know whether such a plan is worth investing into. In addition, if your employer offers any workplace retirement savings plan, sign up for it and authorize deductions at the recommended rate by your employer, or even higher rate if you don't have other investment options. If you normally change jobs, always find out from your current employer about what will happen to your pension after you have left. So, don't just change from one job to another without getting information concerning your accrued pension. In addition, if your employer does not have an investment plan, request him or her to initiate one. Never count it as a loss when deducting the pension from your salary, but count it as a blessing as long as your employer has made you aware about that pension plan, and as long as that plan is anchored in law. Also, it is important to be finding out if you have any unclaimed assets or a pension from the unclaimed assets or pensions or from pensions authority or from anybody in charge of your pension from your country. I repeat, it is important to be finding out if you have any unclaimed assets or a pension from the unclaimed assets or a pensions authority or from the body in charge of pension from your country. It is also good to be liaising with your personnel or human resource management department for your organization so that you can be adequately furnished with the facts concerning your pension. You can also consider saving with an insurance company in form of annuity. Annuity is much like a pension whereby you deposit money with an insurance company that later pays you some monthly amounts as retirement benefits. You can liaise with an insurance company of choice in order to inform you about the various available options for annuity and the considerations that you need to make. In fact, one of the safest ways to overcome unpredictability of investment in stocks is to put money in annuity such as equity indexed annuity with a lifetime benefit rider. I repeat, in fact, one of the safest ways to overcome unpredictability of investment in stocks is to put money in annuity such as equity indexed annuity with a lifetime benefit rider. You can have such accounts within annuity companies. So, annuity accounts are the best methods of investing because they provide you with the income for as long as you live and you retain control over your retirement or over your investment. If you don't have an annuity account, I therefore advise you to visit a good insurance company or any other company that allows members to have annuity accounts. Proper use of indexed annuity is the best method of retirement income creation. If you don't know what indexed annuity is, kindly immediately you are through with listening to this presentation, visit a financial advisor or an insurance company or a stable and a good bank and find out more information about annuity because If you can be able to invest in an annuity account, that can be one of the best methods of creating retirement income. So, proper use of index annuity is the best method of retirement income creation. You can liaise with a financial advisor for more information about annuity method of investment for your retirement. You can also have, just as I've said, individual retirement accounts into which you can be making personal contributions. You can set up this account, for example, in your bank, so that this amount can be being automatically deducted from your checking or savings account, thus providing you with an easy way to save. It is always good to create your timeline for saving for your retirement if you have not already started. To do this, you get the difference between your retirement age and your current age. Once you have tabulated this and you have known how many years you have to save or invest before you retire, you can then find out from a financial advisor on the stocks you can invest in that can outperform other securities in the long run so that you can invest in them. Therefore, start by saving money through various savings options offered either by your employer, insurance companies, or any other financial institutions, such as opening fixed accounts, savings accounts, amongst the others, if you have not already done so. So, if you want to have financial stability in retirement, don't just rely on your current salary for future income, but initiate various methods of savings based on the level of risk you are prepared to take. Number two is growing and diversifying your investments. Growing and diversifying your investments. So, in addition to saving for your retirement, it is also vital for you to develop an investment strategy that will guarantee you continued flow of income even after retirement. Also, avoid giving any excuses on why it is not possible for you to start investing in your retirement right now. This is because if you make yourself to live on excuses and to procrastinate on matters of investing, you may not invest for your retirement till a notice for your retirement knocks at your door, either through your employer or through your medical health personnel. You should therefore come up with an investment strategy that allows you to take advantage of longer investment horizon for goals that have longer time frames. You should also diversify in your retirement investments so that any risks that may emanate from any investment can be distributed amongst your various investment options. This is because if you invest in only one option, if such an option experiences certain risks that are not well insured, you may lose your retirement investment which can be dangerous if you have no backup plan. For this reason, ensure that you diversify your investment options guided by a financial professional while making sure that you create an investment strategy that will help you maximize return while at the same time taking into account a certain manageable level of risk. So, always save and invest in various wide range of options. As they say, don't put all your eggs in a single basket. Because if this basket drops, or somebody knocks on it, or somebody kicks it, you will lose all the eggs. If you have invested in various options, even if you find out that there is an option that seems to be getting some losses, you will not rush to terminate such an option because at the end of the day, it might produce better results at the long run. In fact, long-run investment strategies are likely to produce a better retirement outcome. Some of such forms of investments that you can have may include investing in certificates of deposits, or what we call CDs. That means having a CD account, blue chip stocks, real estate investments, amongst other similar investments. Therefore, consider various investment options because you may never know which one of them will give you greater benefits. So, don't invest in a single area because it may let you down. This is because, or this is also because, by diversifying your investments, you are able to minimize your risks and improve your returns. So, this diversification of investments may include maintaining sound mix of mutual funds, bonds, stocks, and the other assets, as well as having an individual retirement account. Also, other than investing in stocks, government bonds, annuity, and real estate, you can also initiate some small businesses that can provide you with a long-lasting source of income, as well as investing in shares with trusted circles, and especially those circles that are within your line of work. However, as you age, you can relook at your investment options so that you can reallocate your assets from risky investments to more secure investments such as treasury bonds and other low-level securities. One of the best ways to invest for your retirement, if it's available in your country or in your country's financial institutions, is to buy an index fund and keep it forever. If you don't know what is an index fund, I still refer you to a financial advisor or a good financial institution for more information. So, if you can retire having adequate investments that can guarantee you an income equivalent or more than what you have been earning, that is, having a smooth flow of income that can make you enjoy your retirement phase without any conspicuous change in your standard of living, then that can be extremely good. But as you invest, don't forget to liaise with your financial advisor for the best investment option. Let us now look at strategy number 3, or that action that you must take as you prepare for your retirement. And this is on strategizing on your healthcare provision after retirement. As you approach your retirement date, ensure that you are fully equipped with adequate facts concerning your healthcare expectations after retirement. You should therefore make consideration of your expected medical expenses during your retirement period. It is important to know in advance whether your current medical scheme will cover for all your medical bills in retirement, or whether you will need supplemental coverage to cover for your non-routine healthcare expenses. It is therefore important to prepare for your healthcare costs in retirement. And one of the best ways to ensure that you secure your retirement healthcare needs is by buying long-term healthcare insurance while you are still active in your work, way before your retirement date approaches. This is because the earlier you buy such healthcare insurance cover several years before retirement, the cheaper the premiums will be, and the higher will be your level of acceptance by insurance for such a policy. In addition, you can have a healthcare savings account into which you can increase your savings as you approach your retirement. This can be advantageous because such savings can accrue compound interest over the years. It is therefore important for you to note that the more you advance in your age, the more healthcare attention you will need. For this reason, you need to think carefully about your expected medical expenses and also find out from your employer if the existing healthcare or medical insurance scheme in place will be able to cover for your medical bills after retirement. The best medical insurance cover would be one that can continue to cover your healthy bills after you retire till you die, and if possible, one that can also cover your dependents or compensate them after your death. Therefore, if you are a unionizable staff That means that you are a member of a certain union, trade union. Ensure that as those representatives bargain for you with your employer concerning your health care provision, they ensure that the medical insurance cover that you are going to be provided with as a staff does not expire when you retire. That medical insurance cover should be one that can be able to cater for your health care needs even after retirement. So let the unions, let your representatives negotiate with your employers for health care provision after retirement. Otherwise, why should you enjoy an insurance cover, a medical insurance cover, or a health cover only when you are working, when you are active, yet in fact, you need more of health care provision when you retire. Therefore, you need to save for your health care costs after retirement, bearing in mind that medical expenses continue to rise throughout your retirement period. This is because as you grow older, your body weakens, the immunity continues to reduce, and therefore you need more attention and care than even when you are active. In addition, it is important to be aware of whether you will continue to pay for your medical premiums with your current medical insurance scheme after retirement, or whether you require to come up with a new medical scheme to cover for your medical needs after retirement. It is painful to note that many employees and employers do not usually think about their health or health of their staff beyond their active employment. It is therefore important for you to discuss with your current employer concerning your medical cover after retirement so that if there is no such scheme in existence, you can prepare yourself as an individual to start saving for your medical cover after retirement. You should therefore include health care costs as a separate expense in your retirement plan. It is also important that you assess your long-term health care alternatives while healthy, and the time to do this is now. In addition, as you invest financially for retirement, also invest in your health by having preventive screenings, diet changes, as well as having some overall health maintenance. Avoid taking substances that may endanger your life as you age, as well as avoiding activities that can be harmful to your aging body. Remember to make your health a priority so that you can enjoy your retirement when the time will be due. You can also look into a long-term care insurance, which will help you cover your costs for living in a nursing home or having home care in the case you need it at advanced years. It is also important for you to possess a life and disability insurance covers so as to ensure that your family and yourself can survive financially after your disability or death without pulling from the retirement savings in case something happens to you. Number 4, create an account for emergencies. Always set aside from your income some finances meant to cater for emergencies so that in case an emergency arises, you can avoid catering for it using your retirement investment or savings. This simply means that you should have an account for handling emergencies while in your active service in order to use it to safeguard your retirement savings. So, the savings in this account are only supposed to be withdrawn and used to cater for unforeseen eventualities which may just crop up unexpectedly. Such emergencies may include contributions for somebody else's death or sickness, replacing something that has been stolen or broken down, and such other cases, and more so, catering for those expenses that have not been factored in any other account. Number 5, formulate a will on inheritance of your property. It is always important that you prepare a will once you have started accumulating wealth, either in the form of savings or investments. This is because you will never know when your days in this life will come to an end, and it's good to ensure that your wealth is known and is distributed according to your will, even when you will not be alive. Kindly note that preparing a will does not mean that you are wishing to die, but it simply means that you are a good manager of your resources and your family. In addition, by preparing a will, that does not mean that you will die. Or just as I've said, it doesn't mean that you are wishing death for yourself, because death is not triggered by a will. You should therefore formulate a will, and you'll be updating it as your wealth status change. This will should properly reflect all what you own, either in form of cash or in form of investments, as well as any debts that you owe anybody. This will should also indicate clearly how your wealth will be distributed to your dependents and how the debts that you owe somebody should be cleared once you die. Therefore, it is good to also think about your dependents or your dependents and how they will benefit from your savings and investments, even as you plan for your personal retirement life. Always note that developing a plan or a will on how your properties or assets will be shared, that does not mean that you are dying soon. In fact, by so doing, you will be ensuring that in case you don't live to benefit from your investments, they will still benefit your dependents, and nothing that you have worked for will be lost to other people other than your dependents. When you develop a will, you are also able to gain a peace of mind about the passing assets to your loved ones in a streamlined way. It is therefore important that you prepare a will guided by your legal advisor and keep it under the custody of your legal advisor, or keep it somewhere safely and at a point where it can be accessible in case you die before the will is seen. The last step that you need to take in preparation for your retirement, and especially when your retirement has clocked, is announcing and proceeding to your retirement. As you retire or immediately after retirement, you should combine all your various pensions, savings, and investment accounts to make them easier to manage in the case you have been employed by various employers with the pensions, and if you have been saving in various other accounts for your retirement. Also, remember to contact your pension scheme administrators before you retire so that you can know about the expected technicalities before you can withdraw your retirement savings or a pension, so that you can be able to handle such technicalities before you retire. You can also liaise with independent financial advisors that can give you specific advice tailored for you so that they can recommend to you on what you need to do as you exit your active service. Then once you are ready for your retirement, and especially if yours is not a mandatory retirement or one that is stipulated by your organization after having attained the full retirement age, then you need to follow your organization's retirement protocols to announce your retirement. You can do this by scheduling a meeting, a private meeting with your overall supervisor in order to inform him or her about your retirement plan. You discuss with him or her on how you are going to go about your retirement, as well as informing you or allowing your supervisor to inform you on how you will receive your pension and other retirement benefits. You can then proceed and organize on how to announce the retirement to your colleagues, family members, amongst the others, as well as thanking them for the support that they have given you over the years. You can also take the opportunity to advertise any business or a job that you will be transiting to, if any, so that those people can also serve as your initial customers, as well as marketers for your services or products after retirement. In conclusion, always remember that you will not remain strong and healthy throughout your lifetime, but a day will come when you will be willing to do something, but you will not be able due to weak bones and flesh. And day will come when you will be alone, regardless of the number of friends and colleagues that you used to interact with when you were in active public service. And day will come when you may or you will be able, you will not be able to see clearly because your vision will be dimmed as a result of lost eyesight due to old age. And day will come when you will be having properties, yet you will not be able to directly use them or interact with them due to body weakness that will have biologically lost its strength. Therefore, as you serve mankind today, serve them to your level best and in the best way possible, in the same way that you would like them to serve you, because a day is coming when you will retire and you will for sure require the support of those strong and healthy people that will be around you. But all in all, remember to make sacrifices from your today's income to save and invest for the rainy day, which is the day when you either take early or full retirement due to various reasons, and it's your savings and investments that will keep you going. So, always put effort to ensure that you save at least 15% of your income for your retirement, either in form of cash in bank or in any other forms, as well as in form of investments as discussed in this presentation. May the saving and investing spirit possess your heart and your mind, so that you may develop the hunger and the thirst to save and invest aggressively for your retirement as you age, and for the financial freedom of yourself and your dependents, till you exit from this world and go back to your Creator to give an account of your earthly stewardship. Congratulations for listening to this presentation, to this talk, and more so to this video on how to retire gracefully and not as a beggar. To easily access more life skills, motivational and inspirational resources from this Emily Swap Life Skills YouTube channel, kindly click on the subscribe button below this video if it's not currently reading as subscribed. In addition, you can access various free resources in ICT or computer field by searching for Emily Swap ICT YouTube channel and clicking on the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed. For any further suggestions, corrections, or queries in relation to this video or this presentation and others posted in any of the two YouTube channels, that is Emily Swap Life Skills YouTube channel for life skills or Emily Swap ICT YouTube channel for ICT or computers, kindly feel free to write to us through the email emilyswap@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening to me and be blessed.